The Vintage House, selling fine wines in London's Soho for almost 70 years. But a lot has changed since American Air Forceman George Mullen founded the store in 1944. Wine is no longer just for drinking. It has morphed into an investment in itself, albeit a very unique one.
One of the beauties of wine for investment, the more of a particular wine that's consumed, the more the price appreciates, essentially.
So that kind of come back to, I guess, what it tastes like, though. I mean, in terms of, is a wine a good investment if it's a good wine, if it's a nice wine?
It does come back to what it tastes like, but it only comes back to what it tastes like if you're a collector drinker rather than an investor. For many pure investors, what the wine tastes like is utterly irrelevant. What's important for the pure investors is the return, which is often driven by scores given by an American critic, Robert Parker, who you've no doubt heard of.
So I guess the brand of the wine matters.
Yeah, brands.
If people aren't drinking it, if someone's got a good brand, they could turn out any old dishwater and people still buy it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Brand is critically important, and particularly in Asia, brand is massively important. Just like the biggest sales for any luxury product in Asia are brand driven, so it is with wine as well.
And demand from Asia has changed the wine investment trade considerably over the past decade, with Chinese investors driving up prices by buying up scores of high-end bottles, most notably from the Bordeaux region of France. But wine investing isn't without its bad apples. As the trade has grown, fraudsters have jumped on board, cold calling people and duping them into bogus investments. One recent BBC investigation estimated that as much as £100 million may have been lost over the last 4 years following the collapse of several wine investment firms. Journalist Tony Levine has written extensively about wine scams in his weekly lovemoney.com blog.
How do they get you? They claim lots of expertise. Well, sorry, a 23-year-old at a business that's been running for 2 months is not an expert. In my book, maybe an expert in somebody else's, but, you know, let's be a bit cautious. So that's how the scam works. They take your money. Are the bottles there? Maybe yes, maybe no. Who knows? Will they go up in value? Well, another problem with wine is that I don't even know what the right price for any bottle of wine is in the first place.
But the presence of these firms doesn't stop sensible and informed wine investment. Wilkinson Vintners in central London has been selling fine wines for the last 20 years and currently holds wine stocks worth in excess of £6 million. Patrick Wilkinson and Paul Bowker are directors of the company. I asked them what a beginner wine investor can do to find out more about the trade.
One should be extremely cautious if you are cold-cooled. I think this should be a decision that you're making yourself, and then you should do your research. Buy a copy of Decanter magazine. In the back of Decanter it has all the wine prices. It also has some of the biggest wine merchants advertising in there. So you could ask various of those wine merchants, get a feel, build up a relationship with somebody.
I think it's really important to look at the company you're dealing with. You should also be very wary of a company where the address looks a little bit too smart for being a wine merchant. It's amazing how many companies set up as to sell wine as an investment, and they have their addresses in Threadneedle Street, or it's in Regent Street, or it's quite often in Suite 101, I think, in Regent Street. If the address looks a little bit unlikely and a little bit too smart for a wine merchant, it probably is.
So while, like any investment, putting money in wine certainly shouldn't be entered into lightly, there are still gains to be made from the grape, providing, of course, you don't drink away the profits.